Look out, Silicon Valley. The smart minds and smart money are heading east. To Vietnam, where the startup scene is booming. Young tech-savvy Vietnamese are leaping into the digital marketplace, and international investors are jumping in with them. I'm Steve Chow. On this episode, 101 East meets the young entrepreneurs transforming their country, one great idea at a time.
When you land in Ho Chi Minh City, it's easy to be overwhelmed. It's hot, steamy hot, and busy, crazy busy. I find just crossing the road is a challenge. Scooters fill the streets. It feels like everyone in this city is riding one all at the same time, all the time. And I can't help but want to get aboard one to get a sense of the city. As a millennial, I hit my phone. Because of course, there's an app for that.
This is my first time in Saigon. I hope you will have a good time in Saigon.
I'm with An Nguyen, a 22-year-old university student and Saigon local who started giving tours of the city a couple of years ago.
The biggest post office in Ho Chi Minh City. It's still working. You can come there and send your letter to everywhere in the world. Here we are, Tân Thanh Market. This is Notre Dame in Saigon.
An's local knowledge is paying off. She's one of more than 6,000 proud citizens around the world who have joined the website TripMe, getting paid to show off their hometowns.
I love my city, so that's why I want to show my Saigon for international friends around the world, and I want to be a tour guide. It's a Ho Chi Minh. It's the first president in Vietnam.
She's studying a degree in international economics, but says TripMe is taking her down a different road.
Will you continue doing tours after you graduate? Yeah, the TripMe is a big opportunity to work as a tour guide and find out my passion. So yeah, so now I know that I want to work as a tour guide and want to have my business for tourists.
TripMe is the brainchild of husband and wife duo Ha Lam and Hai Ho. 3 years ago, they came up with the idea of connecting visitors keen to explore a city with locals keen to show it off. And it's all done online. To make their dream reality, they left their jobs, sold their house, and moved into their parents' home with their 3 young children.
So some people call us the Uber for local experience. Somebody will say, yeah, the sharing economy. Both are correct.
How many places do you have in countries? 98 countries and over 600 cities.
To get the travel platform going, 29-year-old Ha Lam started as one of the locals giving tours. She's too busy for that now, but says it's the type of people who sign up to TripMe, offering themselves as tour guides, that makes it successful.
So each local people on TripMe, they have very unique stories and very unique interests and passion to show to travelers. And they come from different backgrounds. They can be the actor, actress, or even photographers, or student, like housewife. It can be very different. If they're available, they will.
She credits a strong team with helping to grow the business. They take regular trips abroad together. It's a way for them to meet the platform's local guides and get to know the travel business firsthand. South Korea was the most recent destination.
We must travel to understand our customer, our user. And the more we travel, the better we grow, and also like the better products we build.
It's a close-knit operation. In the office, they sit down to lunch and dinner together every day. Some of them even live here for free.
So for example, this is the room of the girl.
So you house your staff here, yes, but you don't have a place of your own?
Yes, I live with my parents.
It was a big change for Ha and Hai to sell up and move into her parents' house in this suburb on the outskirts of Ho Chi Minh City. They admit not having their own space has impacted their 3 young children.
We 5 people sleep in the same bed, and sometimes like in the morning when we wake up, apple leg is on my head. And our kids, they want to have the private room and the place for them to study and to play.
When our eldest kid, she asked me that, Daddy, the younger brother will never ever get a chance to see our house. So that was the moment I was like, I couldn't say anything. So it's that kind of question hurt a lot.
Their parents aren't exactly thrilled either. To their mind, they had more success when they owned their own house and had a stable job.
My parents think that I'm so lazy. Sometimes they still remind us about like, your friends have a house, have a car, so lots of money in the bank. And when you're able to get a new house.
More than disapproving of their decision, they say they're worried for them.
Các con làm sao liều lĩnh vừa thôi, chứ bây giờ xã hội bây giờ khó khăn lắm, sợ vừa no. Nó mà thấy các con nó làm liều quá sợ. Công ty làm lương tháng cũng khá cao, mà sao con lại nghỉ chỗ này nghỉ chỗ kia, nhiều việc quá rồi. Nói chung tâm lý người già thì bây giờ mình cũng có một cái sự là đây mẹ lấy đất xếp, cái sự là nó chắc chắn. Tại do đến khi con cái nó đã quyết rồi thì thường là bố mẹ là phải làm theo thôi. Nói chung tâm lý bố mẹ bây giờ là thế. Vì thấy các con nó đam mê quá rồi.
Ha can't hide her emotions as she tells her family how important their decision has been.
Còn cái quyết định mà khi mà anh Hải nói là bán nhà thì con nghĩ con không có cái gì mà hối hận hết. Tại vì tiền thì có thể kiếm được dễ dàng, nhưng mà đam mê với sở thích của mình, được làm cái mình thích, rồi mình có được cái tự do trong cái trong công việc, trong niềm yêu thích của mình thì cái đó là điều quan trọng nhất. Còn tuổi trẻ mà con nghĩ là phải liều, với mình cảm thấy là mình có thể đóng góp được, mình có thể làm được thì tại sao mình không thử.
Khi ba mẹ đẻ con ra thì từ nhỏ con đã nghĩ khác rồi, là con không muốn sống một cuộc sống bình thường, đi làm kiếm việc có gia đình thì như vậy thì nó chán. Nhưng mà cái đó không phải là cái đích cuối cùng, là vì có nhà nhưng mà có đầy người có nhà nhưng mà người ta không bao giờ người ta được nhìn thế giới. Thì với con cái đó là vô nghĩa.
Ha and Hai understand their parents' concerns. They know how different life was in Vietnam when their parents were young.
We don't experience the world, so we don't really know what is really a tough time. So for them, the first goal after getting out of the war is to have something stable, because every day during the war is a day that you don't know when you're going to die.
So when you look at Saigon, what do you see?
Both chaos and big opportunity. When things are not well established and chaotic, I think that's where opportunities are.
"54-year-old Hoang Nhu fled Vietnam for the US just after the war. He spent more than 3 decades working in Silicon Valley and returned here 10 years ago to develop his own tech startup.
I was one of the lucky few who had the opportunity, actually the privilege, to work with Hewlett-Packard. And Hewlett-Packard started Silicon Valley back in 1939.
He's now bringing that knowledge to Vietnam.
Was it hard for you to come back to Vietnam?
Yes and no, but after 30 years, I think it's time to heal, and there's so much opportunity, and what we as the Vietnamese Americans, having acquired a lot of knowledge and experience and skills in America, I think we can help make the country prosperous again.
Is the high growth mantra of startups something that can be accepted in communist Vietnam?
Communist country, I'm surprised to hear that it's still being used now. I think the entrepreneur spirit here is even more than in an established country like in America. It's no longer communist to me. That's what's interesting about Vietnam. What you see is not what you get. You like it or not, we have to grow, because we are very hardworking and smart. And with the Vietnamese American experience and acting as a bridge, I think Vietnam has a big opportunity compared to other countries in the world.
Since his return to Vietnam, Hoang has been mentoring a group of highly skilled local engineers who are working on some exciting new products.
Having said that, the rest, there's still a lot of room for improvement, but no pain, no gain. We have to keep on learning. And I believe that the Vietnamese young graduates from colleges are all qualified for that if they are given opportunities.
Everywhere you look in Vietnam, you see people working hard to make a living. It's not just street vendors having a go. Cheap skilled labour and the low cost of business means scores of locals and foreigners alike are taking a punt, creating their startups here. And many more look likely to come. The country is playing host to dozens of tech and business events, including this one at the iconic Independence Palace. This two-day conference hopes to encourage networking, fundraising and business opportunities for tech companies. New products and innovations are on display, like these locally engineered and manufactured electric scooters. Then there's the shutter tool, which lets you capture high-resolution photos from videos.
And then we're going to choose the best one.
Exactly.
Right?
There you go. Now we can scroll through frame by frame. I can choose the photo that I want.
Yep.
We're both kind of laughing. There we go.
Besides the products, there's the people. I meet up again with Hoang to check out some of his devices.
These belong to the category of products called IoT, Internet of Things, meaning everything is connected together, right?
And in Hoang's world, he means everything, including the humble birthday card.
So if I open this,
If you open this, then the TV will turn on. The moment she opens this card, then the wireless signal from here triggers this smart power outlet. Okay, the smart power outlet will turn on the power to feed the TV. And the software in this smart TV will, you select the right YouTube channel to view this content. So
Great. I never imagined that it could be a smart birthday card.
There's also a smart pill bottle that can tell you if you've forgotten to take your medicine for the day.
It has a wireless chip under the cap. Each time you open it, that event is detected.
And a smart card to register guests.
Airbnb ordered 2,000 of these tags.
Hoang's hoping this event will bring him more interested clients.
8 years ago, I came back.
The organizer of the conference, TRAN, says it's Vietnamese returning to Vietnam like Hoang who are propelling the startup scene.
I think Vietnam, you're starting to see that, especially from the 4 million diaspora. In actual fact, the Vietnamese diaspora is Vietnam's secret weapon or unfair advantage to the other regions.
So this year's theme is Asia's Next Dragon. It represents both Vietnam as a country and the startups.
TRAN is also one of that diaspora. 41-year-old British-Vietnamese entrepreneur turned investor. He did well during the dot-com boom in the UK and came to Vietnam 8 years ago to help usher in a new wave of startups.
Vietnam's gone through the golden decade where it was very much around real estate, importation, exportation. I think the next golden decade is going to be driven by tech and digital.
Is it like an untapped market with lots of potential?
Huge potential, and it's only starting to really kick off.
I think Vietnam is the best market in this region for investment. The next powerhouse in Asia.
As well as investing in startups, SIENG has made it his mission to connect investors, like this man from a major Hong Kong fund, with Vietnamese entrepreneurs. He hopes it will help build a thriving tech startup scene.
I have lived in both worlds, so I understand what it's like to be an introverted entrepreneur working at night and keeping things lean to get your startup going. But as an entrepreneur, you can't survive as an introvert unless you have somebody who's going to step in between you and the investor to sort of present your ideas.
And he wants to be that somebody. Attracting international investors to his event is part of his plan.
One of the challenges entrepreneurs face is actually getting some face-to-face time with the investors who can fund their dreams. But here in Ho Chi Minh City, some startups are getting that chance in speed dating style pitch sessions.
Ideas are being sold hard and fast. Some entrepreneurs are selling love, or at least a dating app.
India has their own app, Malaysia has their own app, Singapore has their own app, Thailand has their own app. There's nothing in Vietnam.
Others an app that summarizes and translates novels.
Our vision is to revolutionize the reading habit of 50 million young busy professionals in Southeast Asia.
How many? 50 million?
50 million.
For a lucky few, relationships are forged.
So let's set up another call. You're based in Saigon. Saigon and Hanoi.
And some investors seem surprised by the quality of the startups.
Our expectation, oh man, it's going to be like raw, you know. But it's, well, okay, they're not that bad.
So they're kind of diamonds in the rough.
Hopefully, yeah.
Some of these investors have come to Vietnam for the first time, and I wonder, why come now?
So can we just reverse the roles a bit? Can you pitch Vietnam to me as a place to invest?
I mean, Vietnam for me is one of the most exciting countries in Southeast Asia at the moment for entrepreneurism. It's a market of like 60 or 90 million people, of which 30 million have smartphones, and I believe about 60 million are under the age of 30.
It's one connected country in terms of land mass, so it's logistic-wise, infrastructure is there. From my understanding, huge technical talents. Every year there's 100,000 engineers being graduated every year.
Now what we see as simple as the hunger of the entrepreneurs here. I think they know what hardship is, and the country has not probably just been open only several years ago, right?
So what are the challenges of investing in Vietnam?
So it remains to be seen how the law becomes more transparent, more concrete to support entrepreneurship, to clarify on capital gain tax over here.
There will be problems, there will be issues along the line, but I think overall it's for the positive.
Here we house local startups as well as international startups, and what we do is we...
At his co-working space nearby, SIENG agrees there are still stumbling blocks for both investors and startups alike.
I won't lie to you, this market is it's slightly like the Wild Wild West. There were a lot of unknowns, and yes, absolutely, regulation here is still grey. From a compliance or contract, enforcing contracts here with startups as an investor, I think, yes, it's quite tricky, and we've seen some major issues.
We look forward to connecting investors who've flown in from around the world.
SIENG is working day and night to help overcome those problems. He's optimistic about Vietnam's tech startup future.
Thank you for coming.
He's fostering connections and deals, and a lot of them are made on the sidelines of his conference at events like this. SIENG is working the room. He's making sure everyone gets acquainted. He believes Vietnam already has the entrepreneurial talent. All it needs now is the funds.
Bring the money to fuel the entrepreneurs. And I think trust is the next thing we have to overcome. And through the dinners that we've created, allowing them to meet with entrepreneurs on a one-to-one basis outside of the conference. And I can tell you there are a few deals that are about to close as a result of this.
Many investors here are banking on Vietnam's success.
I want to be part of building a Vietnamese version of Silicon Valley.
Eddie Tai is part of an investment company called 500 Startups. Its specialty is funding new technology businesses in the hope one makes it big and makes them a lot of money. It's based in Silicon Valley, but in March, Tai announced they had a $10 million fund ready to invest in Vietnam.
Our idea is to invest in early stage technology companies, angel or seed stage, and we want to invest in many of them, at least 100, hopefully, in the next few years.
Tai was born and raised in the US, went to Harvard, and was in the year below Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. Inspired by all the startups springing up around him, he came to his motherland where he thought he could make the most impact.
Vietnam has a potential to be somewhere great in 50 years, but I felt like its path over that period of time would be determined by what we do now in the next 5 or 10 years.
What is the potential of Vietnam?
I think it should be a top 30 economy in the next 30 years. I think 6% annual GDP growth is modest compared to its potential. It's getting better. It's still young, of course, but...
Tai meets regularly with investors considering putting their money in Vietnam. Here, he's meeting with a Korean firm.
I've talked with folks from Thailand and Malaysia and Singapore, Korea, Japan, US, China, and so especially where the markets are slowing down, we're seeing a lot more folks coming here. Korea has actually been, over the last couple of quarters, the #1 source of foreign direct investment in Vietnam. I think a lot of the big tech players in Vietnam in 10 years are going to be the companies that arise right now. So, we want to invest in those.
500 Startups Vietnam has so far invested in 10 startups. But Tai says while young entrepreneurs in Vietnam are tenacious, they need to be aware the road to success is steep.
Actually, what we have to do over the coming years is make sure they understand this is not just some lottery ticket they can buy, but the odds are also as bad as the lottery. Like, a lot of people who are trying something now are going to end up failing. But where we are today in terms of the energy in the ecosystem is because these young people are taking risks, and despite being told otherwise. It's pretty cool.
Welcome to Trip Me office.
Back at the Trip Me office, there are no illusions. Hai and Ha know all too well about the risks they are taking.
8 billion people in the world, only one person built Facebook. So the challenge is super, super hard, right? So until today, we always repent that we will lost everything.
But TripMe has struck a mega deal that may see it take off in a big way. It's partnering with one of the world's largest hotel websites, Booking.com.
We use our market. It used to be a $145 billion tour for traveler. But right now, we expand our market to 500 plus 550 billion in terms of accommodations.
Their users can now book tours and hotels direct from its website.
So our position is right there. We have the biggest number of unit tour. We have the biggest number of hotel rooms.
The deal is a huge step forward for the Vietnamese startup. But now, the real work begins.
Partnership with Booking.com that brings TripMe in the next level. And our team must work harder. More responsibility and work harder.
Ha and Hai know there's no such thing as a sure thing. But they have hopes. And in Ho Chi Minh City, they are not alone. But with momentum building in Vietnam, they and others in the tech startup world will continue to ride the wave of Asia's next dragon.